So today is all about the wonderful insurance business.
I hear this often too, sticker shock with people moving in out of state who are dealing with a completely different market from where they're at. Do you have a dog? Does that dog have bite history? Do you have a trampoline? That's a big one, right?
All I'm hearing is carriers shrinking.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Scott Reynolds, and I'm the team leader of the Reynolds team. And this is Heavan. We have very special guests. Let me start over. Hi, my name is Scott Reynolds, and I'm the team leader of the Reynolds team. Welcome back to the Reynolds Direction podcast. Today, I have a very special guest. Her name is Heavan with Sihle. Sorry. And thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to have this conversation.
So today is all about the wonderful insurance business and all the things that we get to learn about insurance. How is the insurance business?
It's always changing, right? So sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard. I think right now we're coming out of a hard market, or we're stabilizing,
right.
I guess we should say. But I love what I do. It's always exciting. I get to meet new people all the time, get to do stuff like this. So I love the insurance business.
You know, one of the things that I think as buyers come into the market, trying as a real estate agent, we explain some of and they actually have, one of the questions I got just a week or two ago was, can I get insurance? And I'm like, wow, yes, you can. It just all depends on the property and everything.
It does. So for the most part, I have not run into a client yet that we have not been able to insure. Right. So there are a few things when I think you're looking to buy a home, especially a first-time home buyer, somebody moving in out of state, to be aware of when you're looking at properties with your realtor. When I think about homes that we can buy, we have our condos and townhomes. We have our manufactured homes. You have your oceanfront homes, your new builds, and then your older homes, which are going to be 20 years or older. Mm-hmm. So for the most part, I think the older homes and the new builds is where we have a lot of conversation and concerns about. When we're looking at older homes, there are definitely things that we need to be aware of that can affect carrier availability or even coverage availability. So with older homes, you have things like frame, whereas new builds are going to be concrete block. That's going to affect...
You mean like frame construction?
Frame
right?
construction.
Okay.
Yes. You have older hot water heaters, older HVAC systems that can also affect rates or coverage availability. You have your plumbing material. Polybutylene plumbing is one we've discussed before.
Right. PEX
plumbing is another one. So if we talk about polybutylene plumbing specifically, right now we only have 2 carriers that will write polybutylene plumbing. So if I'm a new home buyer, I'm going to want to know that there's only 2 carriers available. And not only is there only 2 carriers available, they exclude water damage completely from the policy.
Okay.
So that's a big but, right? Because water damage is something we see a lot of claims filed for. Mm-hmm. We have things like the roof. So shingle roof is going to be life expectancy of 15 years. Metal is 25 to 30, and your tile is going to be about 20 years too. And I did give you correct or incorrect information last time because I said metal and tile were very similar. Yeah. Metal roof is always going to be the superior of the 3. Right. Again, if I'm buying a new home that is new to me but older, 20 years or older, and that roof is original and I have to replace that, there's only one carrier, which is Citizens, that will write that home.
But at least you can get it across it's an old roof now, and you know you're going to, it's priced so that you can replace it after closing. Yes.
Again, though, like with Citizens, writing a home in time to get to the closing table, you have a 30-day grace period where the roof has to be replaced. So again, as a realtor who really knows what they're doing, this is something that you want to be very upfront about with potential buyers when they're looking at these homes, because these issues can cause, people to get cold feet. I hear this often too, sticker shock with people moving in out of state who are dealing with a completely different market from where they're at. So be very upfront about, the age of the home and what insurance is going to look like for that home.
You know, it's something I was talking with one of the sellers yesterday. We were talking about pricing and everything, and the cost of homeownership is dramatically more than what their cost of homeownership is. So they're homesteaded, and so their taxes are,
better
from years ago, and their insurance is based on probably their dwelling amount of however many years ago. The new person is going to come in with, they have an older roof, they are a concrete block, but they're going to be rated. The seller's insurance is going to be totally different than the buyer's insurance.
I'm so glad you say this, because this is a huge misconception, right? Is that I get these calls all the time. Well, my neighbor's insurance is this, and we live in the same neighborhood with the same house. There is so much more that goes into an individual's rate, aside from just what is the dwelling and what's made up in the dwelling. What's the plumbing? There's so much more. So we're going to need your date of birth right away, because we're going to take a deeper look into the individual. Credit history is something we look at.
So you're saying younger people are more risk, or older people are more?
So there's so many things, right? Some older people have a really great credit, but some younger people do too as well.
So it's based on their credit is a factor.
Their credit is a factor. And now when I say that, we're not doing like a hard pull. This is a soft pull. We're not looking at your credit like a financial institute would. We're not trying to determine your credit worthiness, but it's a factor.
A factor of risk.
A factor, yes. And then we also have things like claim history. So if you have a claim over here, but you're buying this house here, that is going to affect your carrier availability. If you take it one step further and add litigation onto that claim that you filed over here, now Citizens is your only option, even if it's a brand new build. So that is something to be aware of as well.
So litigation is where the homeowner disagreed in coverages or allowance, or where they got into a legal matter.
Correct. Okay. Exactly. There was legal matter, lawyers involved. This really impacts your carrier availability going forward.
So it sounds like there's some parallels between, like, how I know I'm more educated maybe on auto insurance. So if someone gets in more accidents and they go look for a new policy, their insurance is probably going to be more than someone that has never been in an accident, which is the equivalent to what you're talking about with claims.
Correct. That's very correct. It means basically that you're, more of a risk, really, essentially. And then also, what are your other liabilities? So do you have animals? Do you have a dog? Does that dog have bite history? Do you have a trampoline? That's a big one, right?
All I'm hearing is carriers shrinking.
Yes.
Shrinking.
Rates
going up, risk going up.
Yeah. So this is what I'm talking about, right? Is that you're not it's never cookie cutter. It's never black and white. You're never going to get the same quote that I would get, or vice versa, even if we're quoting the exact same home. So this is a huge misconception for people, because they think they can send the address, the 4-point, and that's all we need. Basically, when we come up with quotes with just an address alone, we're basically, coming up with numbers, throwing it out there, and then hoping it sticks when it comes to the closing or binding. So it's very important to be upfront right away with your information, so we can provide accurate quotes.
I've looked at coverages, and like some people are maybe not covered as well, maybe undercovered, or whatever the proper underinsured.
Yes.
And it's always like, so everyone insures a little bit differently and willing to take some of their own risk.
Absolutely.
And insurance is one of those things you never want it until you need it.
That's the truest statement, really, when it comes to insurance.
Right.
I think one of my biggest concerns right now is that people are really kind of prioritizing prices over quality coverages. This is a big problem. When you think about your home, right? This is your biggest asset. or one of your biggest assets, it's something that a lot of people work really hard for and save a lot for to become homeowners. Then you think about all the things that you've accumulated over your lifetime within the walls, your stuff.
Yeah.
You grow your family there. You have memories here. If you were, God forbid, to experience a total loss, you want to make sure that you have quality coverages in place that put you back whole.
I remember when there was like a hurricane coming and I went and videoed my house because I never like videoed the house.
Yeah.
Like, cause you forget all the
all
stuff
the
you've
stuff
accumulated.
Yeah.
And so, and sometimes the quality of the stuff you've accumulated. So
that's actually a great thing to do. I wish more people thought, like you were thinking, because it's great to go into the home and document everything that you do have. A lot of time people will slash personal property because they don't think they have that much worth of personal property. But when you really start writing down those things and you realize all the stuff you've accumulated, it adds up. And it's very hard when you're in the middle of a loss to start thinking about those things that you've lost. So documenting it ahead of time is probably one of the smartest things you can do.
Because of course, when you're in a loss, you're camping at a hotel and working off memory and photos that were in the house of you.
Yeah. Some things that are irreplaceable too, right?
Yeah.
So I think that really, and I get it. Prices have been incredibly elevated in our area, especially with Indian River County. We have higher prices than some other areas. But your home is so important. And to, if you're going to skimp out on something, why skimp out on yourself,
Kind of polishing off the coverages. You also have like the replacement, which is, the value of the item when you bought it, essentially.
To replace it. Yeah, brand new.
And then you got,
you have depreciated value.
Right.
A lot of times, so I'm glad you're bringing this up, is there are a lot of things that, what's really sad to me is that a lot of times homeowners don't know who their carriers are and they have no idea what their coverages are or what they mean. It's really important that you're taking time, just like you would to go get a doctor's checkup or your car, serviced, to have an insurance review where you're asking questions. And sometimes the problem is you don't know what you don't know. So you need to really be making sure you're working with an agent or a broker who's taking time, one, to explain your exclusions right away. And then to really sit down and go over your coverages. So liability is a big one, right? So people are so happy. If you're liable for something and you only have $100,000, that's not going to get you very far.
Right.
So that's going to be something that matters. Is your personal property covered for replacement cost or is it depreciated value? I personally want it replaced. You have that. You have another thing, I want to touch base on too, your personal property. A lot of times there is a limit on things like jewelry, guns. This is Florida. We all love our guns. Furs, art, these things have a limit to them in your policy. If you have a lot of guns or a lot of jewelry, you need to let your agent or broker know so those things are covered if you lose them.
A lot of times when, buyers are buying their home, we will help them shop and get quotes based on the home and the wind mitigation report. But we always advise them to meet with, look at the coverages. And if they, I don't even like asking them if they don't understand it. I'm going to assume they don't understand it unless they look at it every day. But, meeting with their insurance professionals so they can kind of explain the different coverage options. Not everyone insures the same.
Nobody insures the same. A lot of people don't, like I said, they're focused on just the cheapest possible policy, and they're just doing this to meet, mortgage requirements. And then there are those people who really, can I say, they give a damn about their home, their family, their belongings. And that's really what, we want to see because, again, like you said, insurance is one of those things that, you're paying for. You hope that you never have to have it, but thank God when you do, need it.
Let's do like a fun, I'm making this up, a little rapid fire.
Okay.
So what is the number one thing that affects the pricing of the insurance policy in regards to the home?
I would say the age of the home, really. because even an an older home, 1967, which I just dealt with a metal roof, rates are still going to be high.
And then probably age of roof after that.
Age of roof after that, I would say comes in. Yeah.
And then
probably your electric or your plumbing and electrical. Plumbing, like I said, polybutylene, 2 carriers.
Yeah. Now, new construction home it's going to sound like obvious reasons, but new construction homes are the least, you get the most discounts.
Yeah.
When
they're
insuring
built,
those.
Yeah, they're built up to code, right?
So obviously the year affects.
They have brand new roofs, they have brand new HVACs,
New
plumbing. They usually have those hurricane impact windows installed. Right. So the price it can be significant when you're looking at the two.
I got a wild, weird question that came up at dinner the other night.
Okay.
Some friends of mine are filing a claim on their insurance. And I'm like, why are you filing a claim? Like, have you looked at how long that'll stick with you and the effects of it? How much coverage are they going to actually give you? And it was like some mold in their bathroom, and they found a hole in the bottom of the shower. So they're basically they're going to remodel the bath.
Okay.
But I'm like, the insurance carrier, I'm just thinking to myself, the insurance carrier is not going to pay for them to remodel the bath. They're going to adjust and pay for the problem,
the mitigation,
based on some sort of schedule of how that works.
Yes.
Where the bath may cost, I'm going to make it up, $10,000 to remodel, or let's just say you're frugal and say it's $5,000, but they may only get $1,000 of credit.
So they're going to pay for the damages, right? They're not going to pay for you to remodel.
And if it's a tub surround,
and that's not what insurance is there for.
They're not going to pay for if it's a tub surround.
And then you want tile.
They're not going to pay for that.
No, it doesn't work like that.
There's a cost per square foot for the plastic.
It's
that they give you.
Insurance is not there for your, home maintenance or for your home, upgrades. That's not what it's for. It just, we're there to put you back whole, not better than you were before and not worse than you were before.
Right, of course not.
So it's
then they've got this little Charlie Brown cloud that's going to follow them around for a while.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And then they're high risk.
Yeah, and it's going to affect, they risk, hey, is that carrier going to drop you at your next renewal because you filed a claim?
And then if they filed a claim on their investment property when they go to renew their personal home, it still rates them as humans, right?
Yeah,
their individual.
Again, your claim doesn't file the home. It files the individual. So regardless of what property you put the claim on, even if it's out of state or wherever, it's going to affect you as an individual.
So be careful on what you claim.
Yes. Be mindful of what you're making claims for. Are they frivolous? Is this something you can take care of out of pocket? And be mindful that insurance is not there to make you better than you were before the law.
Well, good. So what I'm going to do is we're going to put all of your information below so that if you guys have any questions and want to talk about insurance, whether re-rating your current policy on your current home.
Yes.
Or looking at buying.
Yes. Yeah. I will say that the insurance market is stabilizing. We have other carriers coming in that are willing to assume policies that maybe Citizens was the only option for. So I think it's a great time to shop your carriers, to see what other options are out there.
And you can shop all the time.
You can shop. Yeah, you can shop. I mean, I always personally myself, I want to look at every renewal. Hey, is there another carrier out there who's available for me that's offering better coverages and a better rate?
I do want to bring up another point. If you're a homeowner and you and your insurance premium is paid by your escrow company, just remember a lot of people, they just forget. They don't really shop it because the escrow company's paying it, but really you're paying it.
You are.
So
you are paying it.
Make sure that when you when it comes time to renew, that you are evaluating that. And honestly, you can even if a new carrier comes in that gives comparable coverages and maybe, a little hungrier for the business and they're a quality carrier, you can change during the middle of the year as well.
Can. Yeah, you absolutely can, right? And then they would, if there's earned premium, you'll deal with that. But yeah, you can always change your carrier if need be. And like I said, right now is a great time to look at other options because the market is improving.
Yeah.
One other thing that I know we were talking about before this is flood with Citizens. I want to just touch base with that really fast. If you are insured with Citizens right now, by the end for sure of next year, you will be required to carry flood insurance regardless of flood zone. So if you are with Citizens right now and you want to look at other options, there are definitely some out there. I don't think flood insurance is a negative thing. I think everybody should consider it. But yes, there are some changes. There are other options. And it's a great time to really look into your policy and ask questions.
If you're a homeowner that has a flood policy already in place, and it's with the National Flood
NFIP, National Flood Insurance Program.
Make sure you remember and talk to your agent about it is assignable. So your insurance is usually a lot less expensive for a buyer to assume than the buyer to get rated on current rates on the flood policy. So just talk to your carrier about that as well.
Yes. Yeah.
May actually help the marketability of your home.
Yes, absolutely. So, yeah. If you can say, here's the flood policy. Absolutely. But you cannot take that flood policy with you.
No, it doesn't.
Yes. So
it's not your furniture. You can't take it. No. So it stays. Great. Well, thank you for coming by. I really appreciate it. And we'll put all of Heavan's information below. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Give us you can put questions in the comments below. And the marketing department always hates if I don't say this. If you like the information you're getting, please like and subscribe our channel. And we'll really, really appreciate you guys watching this video. Thank you.